So the three biggest questions that I always get: how do I know when to pivot? How do I know where to pivot? Maybe I don't know what my dream life looks like. Maybe I don't know if I want the next job, right? And then what do I do when I find myself there? So let's start with the first one. How do I know when to pivot? Well, there's two sides to this. On the one side, we've all been in that relationship, that job, that place that we know is not for us. We know it's not a forever thing, but we're not quite ready to leave. And I think that that's fine. We have to be comfortable with the decisions that we're making so that we're not left with any sort of regret, right? But on the other end of the spectrum, we've also all been in that place where you find yourself crying, or you find yourself sick all the time, or you're road raging. It's not usually about the other car. It usually means that there's a change in your life that needs to be made. So my answer to this one is always somewhere between the two, which is kind of a wish-washy answer. But I will say, the more you do this, the quicker you get at it. The more you start making changes and getting comfortable and building up that confidence and resilience, knowing that you can handle the next step, the more when you start feeling in your gut that this is not for you, you can make those decisions. So this is also why I like people to get good at change, because you get quicker at going in the direction you want. Second part, how do I know where to pivot? So if you're still figuring out what your dream life looks like, what your dream job looks like, there's a couple ways to get clear on that. One, ask yourself, what do you lose time doing? What parts of your job do you find that you sit down and 3 hours have gone by and you miss lunch because you're so into it, right? Start picking apart the things that you like about your job and the things that maybe you don't like about your job. Maybe you really like working with people. Maybe you don't. Maybe you like the organization and the paperwork. Maybe you don't. So if you start piecing these together, they can all be clues to what you want to do next. I got hired in a job as 50% marketing, 50% sales. And the ironic thing was, all of my experience was in marketing. Everything I'd ever done, social media, branding, everything was in marketing. And I got into this position, and I hated the days I had to do marketing. And I never thought I would enjoy the sales part, but I did. And so about 6 months in, I had to have a talk with my boss and say, you know what, I know I should be doing the sales thing. And I also know that I am doing very well on 3 days a week in this. Imagine what I can do with 5. So it's taking those things to your boss as well of, hey, I'm really good at this part of my job. If I could do more of that, that would help. And if I could do less of this and maybe we delegate these tasks to somebody else who really loves that, that would help me crush it in this other area. So it's taking stock of your life and figuring out the things that you like and the things that you don't. They can help you kind of navigate and figure out where you want to go. It could also be asking yourself, if I'm on this path every day for the next 5 years, am I going to end up somewhere I want to be? Do I like who I'm becoming? It could also be asking yourself, if time and money were no issue, what kinds of things would you be doing? What kind of job would you be doing if you got rid of the shoulds and you dreamed as big as you possibly could? Another way to do this is asking friends and family. When you have a problem, what kinds of problems do you come to me with? I highly suggest not asking them what kind of career they see you in, because this could be all over the place, right? Like they could say nurse and a lawyer and a teacher, because they're seeing things within you and qualities within you for those jobs. But that doesn't mean you should be in that career. But if you ask them what kinds of problems they come to you with, those can be indications. When I asked my friends, it was, well, I come to you with relationship issues and mindset, and when I'm going through changes, all of these are clues because I love talking about that stuff, and I could talk about it for hours. So maybe I should start finding a career in that direction. So it's getting these little clues to figure out where you should pivot next. And finally, what do I do when I find myself in a pivot? First of all, amazing, because you are no longer in that should I stay or should I go place, and we all know that that place is miserable. So whether it's something that's happened to you or something that you've chosen, you're in a good place because you're in the pivot. So now we are going to get into 5 steps to figuring out your dream life.